It's time. It's the finance show. You know the rules. Pop in an upper decky. It better not be a 3 milli. Do not come in here. Pop a 3 milli vanilla in here. We're going to have some problems. Anyways, welcome to the Maple Finance Show, the second part of the Maple Show. And, you know, we've got a great show going on. First things first, we're so back. Bitcoin hits a new high today. Take that, all these people who didn't believe in you. If Sam Bankman-Fried would have held out for 4 more months, he wouldn't be in prison right now. He should have spent a little bit less money and, waited for Bitcoin price to go back up. Because, once Bitcoin goes up, we'll hit 100K, and then all the altcoins they'll start boosting, and it'll be like 2021 again, except interest rates are at 6%. Interest rate 5% instead of 0.2%. And that's what's so surprising about this Bitcoin rally is that somehow the rally, it's definitely because of the ETF. I was actually very surprised when that ETF went live and Bitcoin went down. I was like, what the hell's happening? They had to buy like so much Bitcoin to make these ETFs go. And it didn't move. It took a while. It took a while for people to believe in it. And I really like how the fact that money isn't free right now and Bitcoin's still pumping this hard. Shout out Wall Street Bets. Shout out the crypto community for believing in them. And all those bag holders. Finally, some people are now hitting a profit. Some people who bought Bitcoin at 65K last year. Now they're happy. Now they break even. So now they're saying, guys, Bitcoin's back. We're so back. You know who's mad though? All the Bitcoin shorts. I think it was yesterday, $69 million in Bitcoin shorts were just liquidated. Take that, you short sellers. Take that. This is why you don't bet against a bunch of, gambling degens. I mean, sorry, guys, I'm sorry. It's not gambling. Crypto is the future. But you have to accept it. If you get into this, no one's actually a Bitcoin maximalist. No one's thinking that Bitcoin is going to replace the US dollar. It's not going to happen. Yes, I know, the dollar's worthless. They keep printing money. It's worthless. And excuse me, there was a phone call that I didn't have to take. Waste of time. But, it's... The dollar we all know it's going in the trash. Bitcoin isn't going to replace it. It's going to be the Chinese yen or some other currency from a BRICS country. It will not be Bitcoin. And I'm a great Bitcoin supporter. I love crypto. The only reason anyone loves crypto is because it's making them money. Anyways, El Salvador's Bitcoin investments are massively up. MicroStrategy, that guy's happy. What's his name? Sailor. He is happy. His Bitcoin investments are now up like 3 billion or something. Someone got it right, and he's still buying more. He put his entire company on Bitcoin. MicroStrategy is basically the Bitcoin ETF before it happened. But now the Bitcoin ETF is there, so now BlackRock got it. BlackRock's got to control it, State Street's got to control it, and Vanguard's got to get into it. So this is what happens. You pump in, $50 billion into Bitcoin. What do you think is going to happen? It's pumping. You killed the shorts, and I love it. And I can't wait for it to hit 100K. Can we make it move to 100K? But there's one thing that could cause it to not hit 100K. The markets, we're kind of peaking. Everyone can see it. Everyone says, this is probably a bubble. Something's happening. This AI shit isn't going to be that great. The only company that's actually making money is NVIDIA. So when Reddit comes out, Reddit's going to IPO, as you know. They're looking for a $6.5 billion IPO, targeting between $31 and $34 a share. If this IPO does not pump, guys, Wall Street bettors, I know you're talking about tanking this stock. Do not tank this stock. If you tank this stock, it's going to be the Great Depression. It's going to be 2007 all over again. The market cannot handle a single piece of bad news. We're so rocky. We're on like the thinnest stilts ever right now. That literally one bad earning or one bad IPO will tank this market. If Reddit does poorly, if Reddit on the first day doesn't go to 40, guys, it's gonna be a bloodbath. If Reddit's got a holdout, we gotta wait till we see NVIDIA's next earnings, right? Because NVIDIA crushed it, and that saved the market for now. But between the two NVIDIA earnings, if Reddit does badly, the market's going to crash 15%. If you look at their finances, the revenue was up 20% last year to $800 million with a loss of $90 million. This isn't even a great company. They had to slash their valuation since the pre-pandemic high. I think originally they want to do like a $12 billion IPO. Now they're down to 6.5. They're not doing that good. 20% growth, you know, in this economy, it's nothing. If you're not growing by 400%, I don't care. But I think the worst part about it is that they're losing money. The market doesn't seem to like companies that lose money anymore. It's not 2020 anymore, people. It's not 2019. Money isn't free. And because money isn't free, if you ain't making that cash, if you don't got that positive net cash flow, it's gonna be a bloodbath for your stock. So all the Wall Street bettors are talking about how they're gonna like tank this Reddit IPO. Guys, please, for the love of God, we need Jim Cramer to say that this stock is gonna be bad. We need Jim Cramer to get on this and go, guys, do not buy the Reddit IPO. Please, Jim, do not recommend this stock. If you recommend it, the market's gonna crash. We're all gonna get fucked. And you know, Reddit crashes, the market's gonna crash. Reddit, here's my prediction, okay? Reddit's gonna stay steady. They're gonna come out on the low end. I think they'll probably IPO like 31, maybe, probably 30, because there won't be any demand. And then it's gonna go down to like 25. Like first day. But this is what we need to happen. We need it to hit 40. We need it to hit 40 and stay at 40. It's got to stay up. And then once NVIDIA pumps the market up with their next earnings beat, which they better beat. Because if NVIDIA misses, oh my God, it's going to be a bloodshed. You thought Black Wednesday was bad? The day NVIDIA misses earnings, it's going to be horrendous. It'll be the worst crash since the 2020 crash. It'll be a disgusting, like, death. So, do not let this Reddit IPO... We need Reddit IPO to hold up. Let them hold it up. Let NVIDIA beat. And then you can tank the stock. It'll be fine. But, yeah, can we get Nancy Pelosi to buy this? This is basically what we need. We need some member of Congress to go, Reddit is the future. Reddit is the future, so I'm going to buy, you know, 50 million... and like $40 calls. That's what we need. We need $40 strike calls out the money. That's the only way that Reddit is gonna, because they're gonna, you know, they're gonna tank it, and the market's gonna die. We're gonna die with Reddit. That's how it's gonna happen. But speaking of you know, bad things, New York Community Bank. The bank that bought, that bank that was failing, Signature Bank, in that whole Silicon Valley Bank fiasco. Turns out Signature Bank's $40 billion in assets aren't that good. Maybe buying a bank that's failing, maybe their assets aren't that great. Maybe they got some bad COVID loans. And now that interest rates are so high, some people are defaulting. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed that if you bought a failing bank, their assets would be shit? They just bought $40 billion of shit. So yeah, they had to slash their dividend. They recorded like a $200 million loss. They ousted the CEO. They got a new CEO, and they had to reshuffle everything. And they're saying, guys, and they just delayed, I think they're like, the quarterly report or something. They're saying, guys, there's some material weakness in some of our assets. Yeah, maybe your COVID loans, which are backed by 0% interest rates and a government that was printing free money, maybe in this environment where you have inflation and you got high interest rates, maybe those assets aren't working as well. Who would have guessed? I wouldn't have guessed that. So here's what's gonna, guys, like, we all know what's gonna happen. Reddit's gonna tank. They're gonna pull their money out of New York Community Bank. I think the stock's down like 30% already. They're gonna pull their money out of it. All the regional banks are gonna fail. The economy is gonna collapse, and then China's gonna take over. That's what's gonna happen. This is what you're gonna do. Wall Street bettors, this is gonna be on you. You stop Wendy's from doing the surge pricing. Big mistake. And now you're going to stop Reddit from IPOing at a good price. Bigger mistake. You're going to trigger a financial collapse that you haven't seen. New York Community Bank, I think they also downgraded their debt. I think Moody and S&P just downgraded their debt. Now they're like a triple B or something. Whatever. It's not going great for these regional banks. Can we just get Jamie Dimon to just buy up all these banks? Look, there's only one bank who's doing it well, who's killing it right now. And that's JP Morgan. JP Morgan Chase is murdering the competition. And they should just buy up all the regional banks. Oh, but that's anti-monopolistic. Yeah, you know what's bad for the economy? When all the banks fail. Just give it to the one bank that's doing it well. And it'll be fun. Yeah, maybe you get like... They probably offer higher interest rates on your savings account at JP Morgan Chase than they do at, you know, your signature bank. So, if you have money in New York Community Bank, please don't pull it out. They're probably fine. They'll probably be backstopped by the government. Probably. But if you pull out your money, Reddit IPO is going to do bad, and the economy is going to collapse. Speaking of economies maybe collapsing, China just released their new economic targets. They're targeting GDP growth of 5%, CPI at 3%, and urban unemployment at 5.5%. These guys have, the problem with China isn't, China's not doing that well. Turns out when your largest property developer takes in $300 billion of debt and can't build houses that were already paid for, turns out it's a bad thing. The only country in the world right now that's like developed country that's been cutting interest rates in this economy has been China. Their economy has been we're having problems with inflation being too high. They're having problems with inflation being too low. Their CPI is like 0.3%. If we had 0.3% inflation in this country, oh my God, the central bank would have a field day. Joe Biden would be celebrating. Jay Powell would be salivating. He's looking at that 0.3% inflation and he's salivating. He's like, guys, if we could do this, we could cut rates. But yeah, now they're saying that they won't cut rates till like mid-May. And it's probably too late. The economy's probably already gone. By the time mid-May happens, Nvidia's going to miss and the economy is going to collapse. But yeah, China's GDP, they've been struggling post-COVID. Turns out locking down your entire population is a bad thing for the economy. And they're lying. They're definitely lying. If they're cutting interest rate, it's got to be bad. If China's cutting interest rates, it means their economy's not chugging along. Their manufacturing data has been abysmal, with some slight recovery. But this GDP growth target of 5%, they just recently reported, I think 5.3%. They beat their previous target. But I don't think, they probably lied. Their economy is probably growing at like 3%, maybe, if it's not stagnant. And then their unemployment numbers have been out of control. They've been so bad that they stopped reporting it. Guys, if we don't tell you there's a problem, there's no problem. And that's the solution. This is what America needs. They need to just stop reporting inflation numbers. If we stop saying that inflation's up 3%, then we won't expect that inflation's up 3%. Turns out, yeah, you can't just print trillions of dollars and expect inflation to go down. So, can we just do what China did? Let's just get rid of the let's just get rid of all these numbers. Stop reporting the numbers and we'll just see what happens. It'll be fun. For the first time ever, it looks like Japan's doing pretty well. The Nikkei just hit new highs. For the first time since like the 1980s. It's been like, whatever, 4 decades that they haven't been able to hit new highs. And, you know, Warren Buffett, he was right. He was on the money for this. He made the most immaculate calls on Chinese stocks. I think it was in like 2021. He's like, guys, these Japanese stocks have been undervalued. He buys up a bunch, billions of dollars of like the top, you know, the top companies in Japan, the Nikkei. And I think he's up like 200% on those. Some of them up 400, some of them 100. But I think average, he's up like 200% on those investments. But yeah, it turns out Japan's, you know, chugging along pretty well. Their earnings have been good. They've been relaxing their corporate culture. Turns out people don't want to work in Japan. Turns out sticking to a single company for the rest of your life and being worked to death and barely seeing any, you know, wage gains is a bad thing. People want to change jobs and they don't want to kill themselves because they hate their lives so much. They got to do what they do at Foxcons. They got to put out the nets and stop the Japanese workers from trying to kill themselves. That's what they got to do. But yeah, shout out to the Nikkei, doing very well. This is not sustainable. The day the Nikkei is at a new all-time high, you know it's going to be bad for the economy. The world is going to collapse. You can see it happening. But, you know, yeah, so, whatever. China's doing okay. They're going to be chugging along. America's going to be chugging along. We're going to be chugging along until NVIDIA misses, and then all hell's going to break loose. So, guys, keep up the Reddit IPO. Just prop it up to NVIDIA's earnings. Pray to God they don't miss, and then you can tank them. It'll be fun, because at that point, no one will give a shit. Yeah, so, because, like, new IPOs have been not doing, you know, they haven't been hitting. Ever since that whole SPAC thing, we kind of fucked ourselves with the whole SPAC thing. Because I don't know of a single SPAC that's been doing well. All the SPACs have been tanking. Most of them are, like, you know, they were predicted, yeah, guys, my new SPAC, you know, we just have an idea right now, and we'll have flying taxis by 2024 and 2025. Yeah, what do you think happened to that company? Their robot taxis are not working. Who would have guessed? Stop giving these people free money. This is why the economy was so messed up. You keep giving all these, like, these inventors free money. And you know they launder half of it. They're taking, you know, these massive pay packages, and they're just rug pulling all the investors. It's like crypto all over again. So yeah, let's keep everything pumping for a little while longer. Let people take some gains. Let the people who bought Bitcoin at the all-time high previously, let them, you know, let them feel what people who have bought it since, you know, 2016 have been feeling. Let them have a little bit of happiness before everything goes to shit. Anyways, that's all I have for today's episode. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time.